Hi goats, let's unbox all of this yarn, which was in the thumbnail, but it's below where the camera is. But it's here. And by it, I mean 2 packages from Premier Yarns and 1 package of more mystery yarn from my friend who sent me the last mystery yarn. So shout out to that friend. Obviously not saying their name, but you know who you are. I didn't even take a sip of coffee when I had it in my hand just now. Yeah, we're in my room right now. I was hoping I could set up the background, and I did kind of drape some like crochet things over the bed, but the camera doesn't really see that. It sees the blank wall behind me. Well, blank except for this awesome picture by my friend. I was trying to think of their Instagram name, but I will put it up there. Right. It's my Gwyn graphgan. He has very large eyes. The scale of these graphgans works out to where if I do half double crochet in worsted yarn, the portrait of the person ends up looking larger than life size, which is great, but it's kind of like when a moth opens their wings and like eyes. Though I I feel like Gwen would kind of like that his eyes are kind of spooky, much like the rest of him. And the other thing here is my Lost Souls skull shawl with that one Hobie Halloween Dahlia yarn. Freaky Nightmare, I think. Yeah. So we have the scissors. I haven't decided which package I'm going to open first, but actually it's going to be the one I got first, which is not even yarn, but I've been saving it for a group unboxing. I got something from Redbubble this Black Friday. I got many things on Black Friday, which has a difficult combination of sounds for my stuttering at this moment. But anyway, I'm not sure if you've heard of the webcomic Rain by Jocelyn Samara, I think. Anyway, I followed it for years. It's about this trans girl who's in high school and like her journey of transitioning and the friends that she makes, and there's lots of different queer characters. It's just a really charming webcomic, and I hadn't actually ever bought any of the merch. So when the author mentioned having a sale, I was like, well, I have some money now, so I would like to give you some of that. And I bought, well, you will see, but you're welcome to guess what this is as I open it. The other reason I'm in my room is, I mean, other than hopefully having a background that really suits me in the future, at least, is that it's much easier to schedule when I want to film. I don't think noise will be a problem, but if it is, I'm sure someone will tell me. And I tend to be wide awake around this time of night anyway, so, and here we go. If you guessed a mug, you are right. This is Rain, the title character, with her trans umbrella, because obviously it's raining. Her name is spelled like the rain. And the funny thing is, before I was going by Thorn, I was going by Rain most of the time. So I always felt a little bit weird knowing that I was like, are people going to think I'm copying her? But I mean, I'm not. It's great that she has that name too, but I also have it. But I'm a trans guy and she's a trans girl. But now if I still had that name, I probably wouldn't worry about it as much. Yeah, she's so cute. Package 1 done. I think we're going to start with the continue with the one that my friend sent me. Shout out to the United States Postal Service for getting me my yarn. What's in the box? A second box. My friend and many of you probably know that I'm interested in starting to dye yarn. So they send me a bunch of, I believe, undyed yarn so I can start finding out what, how do I do this? Probably too soon to even think about the developing colorways. Just like I have to get the actual skill of dyeing yarn down. This will be useful in helping me get over my fear of messing up nice yarn too, because it is very nice yarn. It is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes, 100% Peruvian wool. Wow. But yeah, let's see. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 skeins here. Wow. Time to try 5 different shades of blue and or sparkly night sky type of yarns. That's a card. I'll read that off camera. However, I'm pretty sure this is by one of my favorite artists, Anne Stokes, who I also have a mug by, and like at least one tarot deck. I get confused between her and Victoria Francis, who also does awesome gothic fantasy art. And I think I have a tarot deck by them both. Not the same deck, though that would be cool. But I have a tarot deck by each of them, maybe. Then also a notebook by at least one of them. Anyway, I have a mug by Anne Stokes, and I think I remember my friend saying this is a print of Anne Stokes, but I will double check that. But anyway, I love it. It will go great in my room somewhere. Maybe we can fix the blank wall situation. It doesn't look that bad when I'm in here because I can see all the things around here, but just at the camera, it's just like beige. Time for the premiere packages, which sounds so fancy, but the ones with premiere yarn. And I mentioned the graphgans earlier. In fact, one of them is back here with the intense eyes. I got both of these orders for separate graphgans that I'm planning to make next. One of them is a commission for a friend. That one, actually. Not Gwen, who's in the picture, but the person who drew it. Although the commission is of Gwen's consort, Cray the Lad. YouTube captions always messes that up. My favorite was when they captioned her name Craig the Lad, which I think is her drag king name. That's the Welsh goddess Cray the Lad. CREIDDYLAD. Anyway, the other. My leg is falling asleep. The other graphgan that I'm planning, which actually is going to take more yarn because it's a double wide one. It's going to be a blanket basically, and I'm doing it to commemorate 2 important events in my life that have a lot to do with my Vicaro path. One of them is kind of based on my Vicaro initiation. Oddly enough, words that begin with or have ins near the beginning are just, or I guess near the end too, because I was about to have trouble with the word beginning. Ins are just really hard for my stuttering to say at the moment. It changes throughout my life, but yeah, one of them is based on my initiation. The other one is a self-portrait when I was visiting the Bay Area where I now live, but I was here for the first time last year. Both of those were just really important times, so it feels like witchcraft basically that I need to do to make this blanket that has to do with my own spiritual and trans path. So yeah, I don't have the charts with me right now, so I will probably put them in here. Maybe I'll put it in that frame, which would be fun. Although you probably wouldn't be able to see it very well, so I'll also like try to put it in a size that you can see. I thought it would be fun to go through the yarn and try to guess or see if I remember which yarn was for which part of the picture. And then maybe on the screen, I can tell you if I got it right or not. Now that we have coffee, it is time to get started. I also don't know which order is which, so I'll have to look at the colors and see, do I think it's the Cradlad one or the self-portrait one? As you might be able to see, I got the Premier Anti-Pilling Everyday Worsted. I got a few in DK weight because I'm planning to hold 2 strands, kind of blend some colors. I used so many shades of orange and red in the portrait that I was like, I can't, there aren't enough shades of orange and red in yarn, so I'm gonna have to get creative. At first glance, I have no idea. I do have a list of which colors go with which one, so I'm not worried about that. Just like for right now, I'm like, the guessing game will be a bit more challenging. Based on the colors, especially these greens, I am thinking that this was the one for the Cradlad commission. I did talk with my friend about changing some of the colors, the greens and also the golds. When I make pixel art, I of course use certain colors, but that doesn't mean that you have to stick to those colors if you're making a chart based on my art. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the Cradlad one. We have a lot of these golden shades, which in this art there's a lot of, there's a transparent veil that she's wearing, and so I had to choose a color that looked like a transparent gray veil over someone's skin, and that has taught me a lot as an artist, how to work with color. But yeah, I think that these are the shades of her skin that we were going to go with, and there's like a more of a wine purple shade. I think it's one of the shadows, like maybe the deep shadows in her skin. This one won't look, the colors you're seeing won't look quite the same as this because we changed some colors. I think we were talking about making the background green, and so I think that's what this is. Then, of course, highlights and shiny bits would be white, and the veil, when it's not either shiny or covering her skin, is just silver or gray. So I think that's what this is. This would probably be her hair, because I always see Cradlad as having dark hair, so that's how I tend to draw her. Second package. This one has so many shades of orange and gold. This is definitely the self-portrait one, because as I mentioned previously, I was struggling with that. They packed a lot of yarn in here. I'll show you in a sec. 3, 5, 7, 10, 12, 15, 18. It'll be a large project. You'll notice several of the same color. I got 2 of the same color because I'm planning to hold those. Okay, so I have 2 portraits to think about, and I did stay pretty true to how I made them in the pixel art, because I could see changing colors from the chart to the graphgan, but since I made the pixel art, I picked the colors because that's the colors that I want the art to be in. So, I mean, for me, it doesn't have to be that way for other people doing it. One reason I do graphgans is because I want to see my pixel art in yarn form. So I tend to pick as close to the colors as I can, though that is hard because colors you can pick in digital art are a much wider range than the colors that a given brand of yarn may have. So anyway, speaking of this brand of yarn, this is the brown, black, and white trio. I guess this is just the bag that happens to have these three colors in. And I didn't end up going through the names of all of them. They do have good names, but if anyone wants, I'm happy to give that info. But for now, I'm just like, this is going to be a long video, so I feel like the important thing for right now is me trying to guess what part of me in the self-portrait this will be. So I had white as the background, I believe. Yeah, because that's what I often do for these portraits, because they started as nonogram puzzles and you need to have a certain amount of white space or there's nothing to solve. So I may have to get a second skein of that. I think I was going to get one skein of each thing and then see if I need more, because some colors are more, there's more of them in the picture than others. I'm reclining because my leg fell back asleep and I should probably give it a break. So, and the brown I think is in my hair, not the silver version of hair, like the hair color that's truer to mine. It's probably a deep tone. I think this is probably too, like, except for maybe freckles, I think this is probably darker than I would even draw the shadows on, like, a portrait of me. Oh my god, now I'm getting the pins and needles. Maybe we shouldn't sit in ways that cut off our circulation, even if it is more convenient for filming. We're going to leave the twin packs, which is what I'm calling these, for later. Oranges and a gold. Yeah, these are probably, again, my hair, especially the gold. I'm thinking, let's see if I can sit up a bit more so I can not be like off the camera talking to you. Avenge me. Before I forget, I don't think I mentioned the black yarn. I think it's mostly going to be the choker in the self-portrait where I have silver hair, as well as other things that obviously I no longer have in the post-op surgery picture. There were a couple of things that were not quite accurate. I mean, that I drew that way for fun. A couple of things, as in my hair obviously isn't that color, and my chest was not that size. Anyway, so back to this one. I think this one is hair, maybe this one too, in the golden brown hair portrait. So I did a portrait of myself when my surgery was only a month previous, so it wasn't fully healed at that point. So I felt like showing my trans body just as it was at that time, because I felt gorgeous and awesome. So yeah. And oh, these might also be freckles, especially depending what the surrounding skin is doing, as in, like, is it in a highlight or a shadow or a dark shadow. I tend to do the freckles one shade darker so that I can use as few colors as possible. It's a fun challenge, and it makes it a lot easier when you have to convert the colors into yarn that you have to buy. Bunch of greens. Wait, this one's silver, I think. Oh, I think this one's probably for the silvery gray one, and it's not the same as this one. This is like heather. I think it's called a stormy gray, and this one's very, like, clear and has a blue tint, which is saying something because this is a very golden light. So I think this one's for the silver hair portrait, and these two greens are probably for my eyes in the one where I have eyes. You probably can't see it here, but I actually have green eyes, and there's a golden ring around the pupil, which I think is called partial heterochromia. So it's not like when the eyes are different colors, but like each eye has a combination of colors. Actually, several members of my family have it, and it has an important meaning to me. So I wanted to make sure to add that in. So one of the golden yarns will also be for the golden ring. Might even be this one in the center. Other than that, this peach and rose are definitely for my skin, and now these three shades of orange and red. There are two of each because I'm going to hold them double, as I said, but I'm also going to mix them. I believe there are actually 5 shades of orange that I need. I needed so much orange and red, especially for the post-top surgery picture, mostly because of this area that I was drawing. It looked like somewhere where I had surgery a month before. So, but yeah, I think this is all. Wow, cool. I think I got through that quicker than expected, but also I had fun talking about my plans for using this yarn and the really cute mug. I think I actually forgot that I had bought this until it showed up, and I am very happy with it. I'll link the webcomic down there, and feel free to go check out Rain. And thank you for joining me in my Gothic grotto. It feels actually appropriate to say that here because it is my room and my space. So this is the Gothic grotto, and oh yeah, my goats are not here because they live on my desk out there. They do join me for lives, but for right now, I was like, they're just going to watch the night sky or whatever they do at night. Anyway, thanks for hanging out, and it's time to goat.